Netanyahu speaks out against terrorism at the Paris Grand Synagogue. Supermarket siege victims will be buried in Israel. World leaders walk ahead of millions at a rally for peace in Paris. And a worldwide outpour of solidarity for Paris. Shalom and welcome to the Jerusalem Post News. Today is Monday, January 12th, and we are bringing you another special broadcast about the events unfolding in Paris after the deadliest terror spree the country has seen in more than half a century. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited a central Paris synagogue Sunday evening after he marched with 60 world leaders through the French capital to denounce terror attacks.
היום צעדתי ברחובות פריז.
Aujourd'hui, j'étais avec vous dans les rues de Paris.
בשורה אחת עם מנהיגי העולם.
En première ligne avec les leaders de ce monde.
כדי לומר, די לטרור, הגיע הזמן להילחם יחד בטרור. כל יהודי וכל יהודייה.
Tout juif, toute juive.
שירצו לעלות לישראל.
Qui souhaiteraient monter en Israël et émigrer en Israël.
יתקבלו על ידינו בזרועות פתוחות ובלב חם וחפץ.
Avec les bras ouverts, avec toute notre chaleur.
Before he spoke, numerous senior political figures from French President François Hollande to Prime Minister Manuel Valls and former French President Nicolas Sarkozy arrived to the ceremony. Gatherers at the Paris Grand Synagogue lit 17 candles for all the victims of last week's terror attacks. The 4 hostages who were killed Friday in the Paris kosher supermarket siege will be buried in Israel. The body of Yoav Hatab, who dreamed of flying to Israel to make Aliyah, will arrive in a coffin early Tuesday morning, along with the remains of the 3 other victims, Johan Cohen, Philippe Bram, and Francois Michel Sada. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to eulogize them in the presence of their families at a state ceremony at Har HaMenuchot Cemetery in Jerusalem. World leaders, including Muslim and Jewish statesmen, linked arms on Sunday to lead millions of French citizens through Paris in an unprecedented march under high security to pay tribute to victims of Islamist militant attacks. Media outlets reported varying counts of the number of ralliers, and Paris police said the turnout was, quote, without precedent, but too large to count. Some commentators said the last street presence in the capital on this scale was at the liberation of Paris from Nazi Germany in 1944. French President François Hollande and leaders from Germany, Italy, Israel, Turkey, Britain, and the Palestinian Authority, among others, walked ahead of French and other flags as a symbol of solidarity. Some 2,200 police and soldiers patrolled Paris streets to protect the marchers. All around the world, gatherers showed solidarity with Paris after the week of terror that shocked the French capital. London showed their support by lighting up official monuments in the colors of the French flag. New York City illuminated the Empire State Building in solidarity, and Washington, D.C. marched holding signs reading Je suis Charlie. Rallies were also held in Brussels, and Rio de Janeiro's streets were filled with ralliers, also holding Je suis Charlie signs and French flags. French Israelis lit candles at a memorial in Netanya for the fallen supermarket hostages. And Lebanese ralliers took to the streets of Beirut to show their support of France and against terrorism. Even Hollywood showed solidarity with Paris. The annual Golden Globe Awards in California became a stage for some of the biggest stars to show support for freedom of expression.
Today was an extraordinary day. There were millions of people that marched, not just in Paris, but around the world. And they were Christians and Jews and Muslims. They were leaders of countries all over the world. And they didn't march in protest. They marched in support of the idea that we will not walk in fear. We won't do it. So, Je suis Charlie. Thank you.
And that's all for today. Don't forget to go to JPost.com and check out our Facebook page for more on these developing stories. Until tomorrow, shalom from the Jerusalem Post studio.